And we're back. How you doing, everybody? It's the trio. The trio is here.
Trio is
The
back.
trio. Welcome to the Seekers Chronicles, Paranormal Historians, where the history meets the paranormal. And we're here tonight. We're going to have a great show. We got a bunch of great guests. Hey, Adam. Adam's here. So I just want to say hello to everybody in the audience. And I just want to talk to my other host here. So how was I know I want to wish everybody, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Jenny, I know you probably did, but how was it? Good?
I went out and ate the grass outside.
Yes. I sent she had a hay pail outside for the holiday. It was a big hay pail. And she
You know how it is.
You know, they don't have drumsticks, but hey, she likes that kind of stuff.
So many vegetable dishes for Thanksgiving.
I know. I ate and ate and ate. Are you kidding? It's the one day of the year that
What's up, Mary Beth? Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, everything else. Green beans, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce.
I know.
Carrots.
That's called side dishes. That's after the chicken. That's it. You eat that with the turkey.
Well, I married an Italian, so I had like pasta.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's what Italians always have, that pasta. You need your pasta
at Thanksgiving. Yeah.
So
it's like a starter.
So how was yours, Kimm?
Oh, yeah. I actually was sick on the bed here, so I actually did not enjoy Thanksgiving. One of the perks of traveling is you tend to get sick. So I actually had the stomach flu for 2 days, so I was not able to share for Thanksgiving. But that's okay. The rest was good. The rest felt good.
Talk about traveling here. Somebody went to nice little places that we would like to talk about.
Yeah.
Kimm. So Kimm gave a couple of pictures of her trip to Bali. That was awesome.
So I just came back from a trip to Singapore and Bali, Indonesia, and I encountered a location there that I was like, I know exactly who would appreciate this kind of information and this kind of these pictures, images, place, and the story behind it. So I'm bringing this here to you guys. This is like Paranormal Historians exclusive from across the globe.
Bring it in.
So bring up a picture. So perfect. Good. So I went to Bali, which is an island in Indonesia, and it's in Eat, Pray, Love. It's like a big tourist place, and there's a place called a Sacred Monkey Forest, and in the Sacred Monkey Forest there is actually a cemetery, and as I'm traveling around the island, I didn't really see any cemeteries.
I'm sorry, I just want to interrupt 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the sign. No body contact? You're in the cemetery.
Hold on. Well, okay. Because they're sacred places. Everything is sacred there, Anthony. Nothing is sacred here in the United States.
Go to the cemetery and, do it.
What? Hold on. Let me tell the story, Anthony. Be quiet.
Look at this. Shut up. My wife now. Jesus.
So we'll keep the photo up.
Okay.
Gosh darn.
Look at this. It's like I have 2 more wives. I can't go, man. Go ahead, you two go talk.
Okay, thank you. So I was like, why aren't there any cemeteries? In the United States, we have cemeteries. Everywhere else I've really been, there have been cemeteries. They all kind of look a little different. Well, the reason is because in Balinese culture, you only get buried for a certain amount of time, because every 5 years, literally, this is what they do. They unbury their dead and cremate them. So go to the next photo, Anthony.
Well, it says no smoking and no vaping. No smoking, you're burning them.
You gotta respect your life. So every single one of these cemeteries here, these graves, will be getting unburied. The family washes the body and brings them into the cremation temple, which was right across from the cemetery. But I just couldn't bring my brain to wrap around that. Oh my gosh, the family has to unbury their dead. I mean, obviously this is very, ritualistic and ceremonious and a beautiful process. But And then go to the next photo.
What's the next one?
Well, there was quite a few photos I sent you.
Yeah. I like the monkey in the background over here too.
Oh yeah. There was monkeys everywhere because it was the sacred monkey forest. There was hundreds of monkeys. It was terrifying.
I have another one with a sign. Is that what you want to show?
Or the temple. Yeah, bring me one of the. There's one of a statue. Yeah, I thought that one was super cool.
Yeah. This.
Yeah. So this is the
cool.
entrance into the Balinese temple of cremation. And what I loved so much about this is, can you see the skull underneath his feet there?
Yeah.
Like they have carved skulls all over this cremation temple. He has like a skull in his little bracelet on his ankle, and they do ceremonies and offerings. There's an offering there as well. And there's just one more photo of inside the temple that I was able to take a picture of too, where they
like these boobs.
What?
I'm that kind of guy. I don't know. I'll take this picture off before everybody starts seeing what I see.
Anthony, focus on the skulls.
Skulls.
I'm
He's
sorry.
wound up tonight. Let me tell you.
I just drank my third Red Bull.
Oh God.
You guys are in trouble.
Here we go.
You guys are in a lot of trouble right now. Okay, here's the next one.
So then this is just a picture of inside the cremation temple. So there's some platforms on the left and another platform on the right where they actually would be placing the dead. And every 5 years, it's like a big ceremony throughout the whole island where they cremate their dead. So very fascinating. They also will go ahead and go into the remains and pick out the bones that don't get burned. They make them into a powder and a mortar, and they bring them down to the ocean. So then they fully get completely released to the other side. So a lot of rituals there, a lot of ceremonies. I was actually there during a national holiday where they're actually remembering their past loved ones and inviting them back into the homes for 10 days. So the island was crawling with spirits for the whole time that I was there. It was amazing. So yeah, I thought, who would appreciate this kind of stuff would be the viewers here, you guys. So
and
yeah,
this would be the thing of the temple. You can see the picture.
Yeah, so that's about the cremation in the temple, the cremation temple. Yeah. Yep.
That is interesting. Oh wow. That's very cool. And I mean, it does show, after so much time, the body's in the ground, everything. I'm not going to go to how many cemeteries around by me, but you see cemeteries and these people in the ground for a couple hundred years. There's nobody around to see them anymore.
Yeah.
So if something like this, you take the body and you do in respect, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, it's like
you do a lot of respect, and then you take the ashes and you put them in a place that is a temple that people could come to see. And anybody to go there and stuff like that will, show respect to the temple.
Right.
Instead of a body in the ground for 100 years rotting and stuff like that, and nobody, after the first 20, 30 years, nobody goes to these graves if there's not family members left of them.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's very interesting.
I don't know if they keep any of the ashes. They might, I don't know, but it seems like they want the whole part of them to go on and out and into nature and release it. But I don't know. They might keep some of the ashes. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's
cool.
interesting how they, what they do. Out of respect, all stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Very unique. So, all right, that was my share today from my travels.
Cool. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Bali.
So you don't know if the family keeps any?
Mm-mm.
Ron is asking
I don't
again.
know. They do take them, like they take them from the cremation site. Like again, like I said, if there's any bones or bits, I don't know what they do with the teeth. I don't know those things.
Yeah.
But they grind them up into a mortar and then they bring that to the ocean. And it's like a whole other ceremony too. Like they have like a whole other ceremony to release them.
It's out of respect for the dead. So that's very good.
I love it.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Kimm.
You're welcome. There's
That's
that
awesome.
little history plug there.
I love it. I
know
saw
how
a
to add
picture
my
of you
stuff.
with the dog, I think, too, online today. And I was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like that.
a lot of
You had that little thing, going up here.
yeah. That was after I went to a Balinese shaman. Yeah, I had a whole shaman ceremony. It was very interesting.
I
Yeah,
feel like we have to have a whole show on this eventually. Yeah, for sure.
Because my son married a woman that's Indian from India,
Mhm.
and when they got married, they had that stuff there, and they were married and had put on us and stuff. It
Yeah.
was pretty. I mean, that's really good. All right.
Mary Beth is asking if I communicated with any of the spirits there. I not with yes. The short answer of that is yes, but it was actually mostly like land guardians of the spaces, and each family has a temple and each business has a temple. So it was more like them kind of checking me out, and then actually a few of the major deities of the area actually came to me in some journeying that I did. Yeah, so that was actually really cool. Names and stuff of the deities also came through, so that was really cool because I don't know what they name them. But then I look them up after.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah,
definitely. You like that history stuff.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have guests on tonight. I don't want to take all their time.
We do, and we
gave us some
appreciate
good
their
videos
patience.
and everything. I don't want to rush them. So, Jennie, have the honor.
I would love the honors tonight because these two people are near and dear to my heart. Wonderful guys we have tonight. And just to keep it short, because we're a little bit late bringing him in, I'm just going to go for it. Tonight we have Frankie Adeo and Anthony Maniacal Tricycle from the Parasite Project Corp.
Hey, hi guys.
Hey guys.
How you
Seeing
doing?
you again.
Frankie.
Nice to meet you. No, I'm kidding.
Hi. Hi.
Never seen you in my life.
Hi.
Kimm,
Thanks
those
for
are
being
great.
here.
Those are great pictures, Kimm.
Yeah, thanks, Frankie. Yeah. You'll have to go.
Oh, definitely on the bucket list.
That sounds
the bucket list.
The
Mine
long
is like,
bucket list.
mine was like growing. Today is episode 60, so it's really cool that you guys are here for that.
And I got to wish my wife a happy birthday. It's her
Yes,
birthday.
you
Happy
do.
birthday.
Real life.
Happy birthday.
I mean,
Happy
happy
birthday,
birthday, Laura. She's 35 again.
Of course.
Again. And again.
Amazing.
And Rob in the cradle.
Yeah, hey, she's 35 for like, I don't know, since I met her. No, not since I met her, but, since she was 35. But, yeah, so happy birthday, Laura. And everybody in the audience, just wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So,
Yay.
well, tonight we got a lot to talk about. Frankie, we just did that. We were just at the Ritz with you, Jennie and I, and that was awesome. That night at the Ritz,
It was so fun. It was so fun that night.
Yeah, it was.
It was. We
had
talked
a
about
good
it
time.
on the last episode. What a great event that was. What a great night it was.
Yeah, we had a good time. We really did. So the simple, silly question we always ask: how you guys got to the paranormal? Just for the audience,
Yeah, for the new people.
Anthony can go first.
All right. I'll go
Well,
first.
I was no.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. There's two of us.
It's the two of us now. Go ahead.
Anthony M.
All right. I don't know. I think for me it started probably right from the get-go. I was really into just spooky things, horror movies at a very young age. And in a way I kind of leaned into those sort of things. And I also was kind of aware of early on, like I remember like visiting grandparents' houses, friends' houses, things like that. And I always remember there were just like places and houses that I just felt uncomfortable in. For no reason. Like I would be hanging out with my friends, be like, "Oh, let's hang out in my room. We'll play Nintendo." And I'm like, "I don't know. Let's go outside instead. There's something weird here." And it wasn't until many, many years later that I kind of explored that a little bit more with whatever I might have been sensing. And I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think, that got me into the paranormal and got me into doing more tech stuff in the paranormal because maybe if I come up with some more techie stuff to support what I'm feeling, maybe I could lean into that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting,
Yeah,
You
I think so.
You had a curiosity. And
Yeah, that's all.
it was curiosity, and you brought it into what you're doing now. So that's interesting how you got, started.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Frankie, how did you get started?
Because it was like a gradual over time kind of thing. Did you
Yeah.
ever have like a moment in time where it was something that really sparked it, or it was just, again, like you said, it was just kind of gradual throughout your life?
It was just gradual, and I think it was kind of like more of like I didn't really acknowledge it until I was kind of like looking back, because it was just like, okay, like I don't like being here. Or like I remember like in my grandmother's house, like I didn't like being in the attic, and it's not that the attic was creepy or anything. It was actually just like at the time it was my aunt's bedroom, and like and like a storage room and a bathroom, and it was just like, but I just didn't like being in there, and other places too. Like in my other grandmother's house, there were places where I just didn't like being there.
Yeah.
And then I heard, then I understood that like there were some people who had like some kind of intuition that they felt similar to that. And I got curious about it, and here I am.
Nice.
Got it.
Frankie,
Be
you're
curious, but verify with tech.
That's it. Either tech or reason.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, we can't forget the reason.
Reason, yes. So the way I got similar to Anthony, I was always into like kind of the darker things in life, like film and just the whole like horror vibe, genre vibe. Kind of gravitated towards that as well. I actually got into the paranormal from work, actually. I remember my first day on the job. I worked for Catholic Charities, and I was on what's called the PAC team. So for people who don't know, I'm a mindfulness cognitive behavioral therapist and a forensic social worker. So my first day on the job, I was on a PAC team working with individuals that have severe mental health diagnosis, like schizophrenia. And I was traveling the whole entire state and seeing different people. At the end of the day, which is normal, they kind of like decompress you from the day. And the person that I was shadowing, I remember sitting in the car with them, and they're like, "Yeah, so how would you think of the day?" And I said, "There is just something that I can't get past, and that we saw about 10 different people throughout the state, and they're all reporting the same thing, that they're talking to family members, they're seeing family members, friends." And the person that I was shadowing quickly like gave me the look how we normally get in the paranormal. Like when you tell people things, like you get that, okay, I don't know about that. But it was just something that I couldn't shake, because these people don't know each other, and all individuals, but yet they're reporting the same thing. So that's kind of like how I got into it. I never watch, and for full disclosure, I still don't watch like paranormal entertainment, because the way that I felt into it was, I don't know, more like it was reversed for me. So instead of being a paranormal enthusiast, I got into it from a work professional standpoint, and then became the enthusiast. So, and in meeting somebody like Anthony, who is tech heavy, and I love tech, but I've never had experience with like building stuff like that. So Anthony, was nice enough and patient enough and kind enough to kind of walk down that journey with me. Never built anything really that worked, but it was just learning the process of what Anthony does. Because I'm an experiential person, so that's how I got into it, and absolutely love it. I love now that I'm able to kind of like bring what I do for a living and what I'm good at into the paranormal. So I always kind of say to myself, like, I'm a therapist first, and then the paranormal enthusiast after that.
Which is good, because both of you come in with different thoughts of the paranormal, not like mostly the investigators or research and stuff. They come in, everything's haunted. You come in and you look at it different ways, and you say, okay, there's a science to it, and there's maybe something you don't know in, and you actually look at it at a different aspect than some of these people that come in and say, oh yeah, it's haunted, you know. And especially you, Frank, when you came in and you were starting to interview, you're starting to work with these people with these multiple experiences, but they all had the same experience.
How,
You know,
like we in my field, we would slap a diagnosis on that, and we call that psychosis and dissociative disorder, and but it's just, yes, they fit criteria, but you can fit everything in a criteria when it comes to mental behavioral health. And it's just, you take away the factors of meeting criteria, but just listen to the experience, because that's 99.9% of my job is just listening to people. It was just something immediately after a couple of hours of doing it, we're like, yeah, I'm not buying that it's just psychosis. There's something.
Yeah.
I mean,
credible.
Right. And commonality from different demographics, men, women, different ethnicity groups, different economical and urban and suburban. It's wild, because I get to travel the state, so I get a nice, kind of plethora of people that I work with. But it was just something that I got the side eye for when I said it, and I knew at that point that that I was on a journey.
Because I mean, years ago, Kimm, they would have put her away because because she could see things. A lot of people back then that had these experiences, that even myself, if I started talking about this as a kid, they could have put me away.
Right.
And so it was an era where now it's coming to, more of an understanding. And still today, they will put, parents will have their kids treated for these because they have abilities, but they think they're hallucinating and they got all the other So, yeah, psychosis is a label they throw on everything anyway. Now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have this,
We have our first question.
if you're mad about something, you're psychotic, and everything psychosis. So as a therapist, that what I'm saying with that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a label that they use if they can't identify what you have. You have psychosis, and that's how it still is to today. And you're coming in with a new idea of maybe not. Maybe there is something more to that than a mental illness. Maybe there is. Maybe they have abilities that can't be explained.
Right. And I think what makes Anthony and Parasite and our brotherhood in this so interesting is that we both come from a forensic background. So we are very forensic heavy. Anthony on one side of forensics and me on more of like the social science part of it in forensics, because that's what I do for my job. I work in a forensic background. So a lot of it from what we do, and Anthony, you can talk about this too, Anthony M. We work with people. We're ultimately dealing with individuals and people. So we have a different set of ears for that kind of stuff, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with like Frankie was saying, to kind of piggyback on that, and kind of to sum up what you were saying, Anthony, is that we got to look at things objectively when we conduct an investigation, when we're talking to people. Like you had mentioned earlier, like you were saying, you have this like little checklist and you go, oh, it's haunted, right? Think about where you start, though. If you go to a place that is known to be a haunted location, you're already biased towards saying it's haunted, instead of looking at the data you gather, looking at your observations, and letting that lead you to your conclusion. I think that that's a trap that a lot of folks fall into, because they say, oh, I'm going to this investigation at this haunted place next week with a bunch of people. Well, yeah, when you say it like that, of course you're going to say it's haunted. Of course you're going to determine it's haunted.
Yeah, you're already putting in their head. It's haunted.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And everything from then on goes a certain direction instead of going out.
100%.
Right.
Any noise, anything, it's haunted. So, no, good. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, but that's the thing. It's, you have to look at your own findings objectively and let that lead you to your conclusion. That's all. And same thing, I think, in a situation with, like, when Frankie talks to people in his professional life, it's not just, let me look for something in the DSM-5 that meets this criteria. It's, let me see what is happening with this person, and I will let that lead me to my conclusion.
Right. 100%. Yeah. And I bring that into, and what I was saying with, like, in the beginning of I wanted to do, Anthony can tell you, I wanted to do, because it was a new experience for me, actually learning the field and doing the work and what that meant. I wanted to do everything, and in that process I lost what I'm good at and what I really could bring to the table. Like, I wanted to build tech, and I wanted to do all this stuff that paranormal people in this field do, because I guess kind of part of me was like, oh, I felt like gypped a little bit because I was coming into it in a different angle, but I don't get the fun stuff. So I wanted to do the fun stuff, but quickly realized I was not really good at the fun stuff. So it took me a while. It took me years to kind of get my footing into what I can contribute. And I'm just fortunate that I have somebody who has kind of like a similar mindset in that forensic world. So we can kind of like bounce ideas off of each other, and it works because we are looking at it maybe from a different perspective than other people are. Not to say that we're like the purple unicorn that everybody, but it just works for us because Anthony has that objective view of the whole, like, data analysis that we can collect from it. And then I have when I go into some place, it's almost like twofold, guys. It's like, I want to know what we as a collective group of people who are going through that experience, what that's like for us. Why do we believe those things? Even like bias, why do we buy into bias? But then I also want to be, that's like the therapist side of me and the psych part of me. But then the therapist side of me wants to actually do like spirit, like therapy sessions with them to see how that experience both lived while they were here and, in the afterlife or wherever they are. That has to be traumatic. It has to be traumatic to speak to the living if you're no longer here. So that's kind of like how I approach things, and it's because we have that forensic brain that we're using to do this all. It's hard for us to get around that, guys. It's really hard to get around the forensic-y stuff.
Yeah. Like, Kimm has the ability to actually, I guess, communicate with them, and she's like,
I guess.
I wish I had abilities like Kimm, but I have to rely on, if I'm doing something like that type of work, it has to be with somebody that has the abilities, because I don't have those abilities to be able to ask spirit more of a clinical therapy question, because I'll never get a response because I don't have those abilities. So I would rely on somebody like Kimm to help me kind of have those dialogues with spirit.
Yeah.
There's actually a really interesting book that's coming to mind, Frankie, from this conversation. It's called Life Between Lives.
Okay.
And it's there's a few books, but it's this hypnotherapist who hypnotized a bunch of people, whatever, over the years. And he would actually bring them to a state of in between their lives. And he started collecting all of this data about what it was like in between the lives. It's fascinating. It's very unique and it's very fascinating, but it's many different people have reported X amount of experiences in between their lives. And so you were bringing up the question about like, what is it like on the other side and communicating with those who are here. So it does bring up that in the book quite a few times. So that might be interesting for you to
I'm
read.
definitely gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah. And I've had a Life Between Lives. No, there's a therapist in New Jersey. There's everything in New Jersey, but
Yeah.
the therapist nearby who actually does this. And I actually had a session and it was fascinating. So
I may have to give it a try.
Mhm. I like to give it a try.
Yeah, me too.
I probably like my past life. I was a horse or something, or mosquito or something like that. I don't know.
You answered.
He was a cannolo.
I was like, yeah, I was a cockroach on a cannoli, and they smashed me.
Oh my god!
That's why I like cannolis now.
No, I bet you were a chef. I bet you were a chef. This is just me saying I don't really know, but
Oh my gosh,
See,
I love it.
I was going to say, were you the whole horse or just the back end of the horse?
I'm probably just a tail. Well, I'm under the tail.
Oh my god!
terrible.
That'd be kind of a fun game. Guess what someone was in the past life,
That is a fun game.
right?
That is a fun game.
The tail
Well,
on.
What would I be, Kim?
Well,
in a
it's funny
past
that
life?
you all say that because I'm like, I think I really was a horse in a past life just because I love horses so much. But I also, everybody says like vegetarians are probably a horse in their past life. So maybe
Oh my
all three of
gosh,
us
that's
were horses.
funny.
That means
I
I
was
was
a cow.
controlling my past life because I
I
like them
was
so
a
much.
cow.
No,
No.
like drinking. We have a drinking game,
Oh
guys.
yeah, we do. We have a drinking game.
Uh-oh.
You said you
What's
said
the
it.
When you
drinking
say-
game?
Well, when you say cannoli on the show, you drink.
Okay, canoe.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
It's true.
Cannoli.
I gotcha.
Gotta
Thank
have a
you,
drinking
Beth.
game.
Thank you.
Kim guessed spirit animals once. Remember, you told everybody their spirit animal, and I was
Yeah,
a
I
bird.
forget. I don't remember. Oh,
But I must have been a cow in
I
a
like
past
wolves,
life
though.
because I don't eat meat. So
right.
I think I was a wolf because
see, we even
I
got the
told the
audience
wolf
Oh,
into
yeah,
it.
we did do this.
you know.
I was a
Got my cup
soldier.
here.
Yeah, there's
This
quite-
is way off track. What were you in a
Yeah,
past?
Sorry,
Get over
I
here.
brought a speaker. I'm sorry.
No, I like it.
No, I think I love it. I love it.
This
But
I
is
think it's
awesome.
fascinating.
But bringing us back to the conversation of our parts in a paranormal investigation, I love the fact that you are figuring out and exploring and expressing your unique part in this, because sometimes, I mean, I know you said you don't watch a lot of the online shows, Frankie, but I mean, everybody's cookie cutter and it's just like cookie cutter this, cookie cutter that.
Yeah.
Everybody does this, you know, and it's very not bland, but it's kind of like whitewashed a little, not literally, but, you know, it's just
Yeah,
very-
no, I know what you mean.
It gets a little formulaic.
Yeah.
So, you know, finding your niche in this field is so valuable.
Right. Yeah. And it's exciting because it's like I love to learn. I'm like an eternal learner, and I get very excited about learning things that maybe I don't have, you know, a good background on, but I just latched on to doing this work. Especially when I started having my own experiences, you know. People always ask me, like, do you ever experience something? I say, well, Anthony and I have been doing this for a good 5 years. If I wasn't having some type of experience, I would not be doing this for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why that now the work is deeper, because by understanding and experience, again, I'm an experiential person. I've now have had actual experiences where I personally know that there is validity to the paranormal and the work that we do.
Nice.
For sure.
Well,
Yeah.
bringing in that you had experiences, I probably know one of the places you had the most experience is at the Ritz.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm going to show a picture of the Ritz. This is the Ritz.
There it is.
I said that of Frankie. It was like 3 in the morning. I took that picture of Frank.
Jenny, that's me. I remember Jenny was like, Frankie! And I'm like, who's this? She's like, Darcy Free.
It just looked cool. It was the end of the night. You were standing outside.
Yes. She looks very sexy, the Ritz.
Yeah, she does. She looks good.
The Ritz is a very cool place.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Ritz first, because we have people who watch from all over the country. So tell us about the Ritz Theater and where it is. And we talk about it all the time, but
we speak about the Ritz.
All right.
And every time I think of the Ritz, I think of the Young Frankenstein movie. Bring another Ritz.
Everybody does.
Well, the Ritz Theater, it was built, I believe, in the 20s, right? Late 20s.
Yep.
And it started as a vaudeville theater. From there, it kept operating as a vaudeville theater. There were a lot of performances. And it's actually located in the Haddon Township of New Jersey, which is South Jersey, about 15 minutes away from Philadelphia. Pretty easy to get to, just saying. Just got to throw that out there for folks.
Tell me about that.
What's up?
I'm from Queens, and then tell me about that.
no, there's
Listen,
no.
I'm even further than you, Anthony, and I still show
Right,
up.
you're all the way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a commitment.
Yeah. But then also in the 70s, went to a bit of a darker time where it was an adult theater, and into the 80s. What was it, the 80s when it kind of got restored back to, or was it shut down at that point?
It was probably from the 10 years. So on the historical record, it opened as a porn theater in 1970, and in 1980 it closed.
Right.
And then it went into kind of disrepair for 8 years, and then that's when Bruce Kurlitz and the Ritz Theater Company, and they came in and said, this place is not only a historical landmark, but it has some deep history, like Anthony was saying, in vaudeville, classic cinema. It was the overflow for New York City and Philadelphia. So it was like the hot spot that they call it the gem of the Performing Arts Center in New Jersey, because a lot of people don't know it's there, but it has some significant history in the community and in the performing arts area in the tri-state area, because people used to come from all over to come to the Ritz.
I'm going to throw some clips. News Sundays.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, we get stuff like that. We have stuff like that. We're fortunate to have stuff like that in our archives because of Jennie. She did a tremendous amount of work with both the Camden County and Haddon Township County. So we're fortunate that we have such great information that now 5 years later, we're still going back and finding stuff that's connected that Jennie found. Yeah.
There he is.
For a former porno palace.
Right. So that's Bruce Kurlitz, a very young Bruce Kurlitz, which we love Bruce. Without him, he's the heart of the Ritz. Without him, and nobody who has been walking through those doors recently would have the pleasure and the fortune to walk through and experience the Ritz without him.
Yeah, I mean that's.
These things are so cool.
I know.
I mean,
yeah, I mean when you come to old newspapers that go back and look at the front of the Ritz, that's 1990.
Yep.
Right. The theater has always, through all of her iterations, from the day she opens her door to present day, she has always been the Ritz Theater. Good, bad, and everything in between.
That's so cool.
This I find here. Look, it has air conditioning now.
Yeah.
Heated, ventilated. Like it wasn't ventilated.
Yeah, it was cool by ventilation.
This is so fun.
Cringe.
I love those old ones. I really do.
It was I guess it was a big
this
thing.
is an advertisement for the heating and ventilating company.
Yeah, and we can take articles like that and go back because we do have the historical record. We can actually verify that those people did have a contribution to the Ritz.
This guy got
Wow.
arrested or something.
Yeah.
So that's actually an interesting story that Jennie found. That again, 5 years later, we're kind of going through stuff again because now a lot of it makes sense now that we've been there for 5 years. There actually was a big event, or they held a like a
Was it
film
a premiere?
showing. A film showing. Was it a film? Yeah, a film showing of like Union proud kind of guess propaganda, for lack of a better term, on a Sunday, which was during the Blue Law, and it was this big whole thing where the cops swarmed the Ritz Theater and arrested people because of this. One, they were breaking Sunday Blue laws, and then two, because of the intensity of like what they were pro union. So yeah, it was like wild that we can. But the Ritz has some other history that goes on there besides just being a performing arts center.
It was like a
Yeah,
raid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, really just like a hub of
Can I
the
tell you-
community.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask, can I tell you my favorite article that I
Yeah.
found?
By all means.
Of all. It's your show, but my favorite article is the baby parade outside the front of it. They had a baby parade. Yep, this is so cool. They had a baby parade out in front of the Ritz on the street,
Well,
literally judging people's babies.
well, I
It was
hope
like
that-
toddlers and tiaras before that even was the
Yeah.
thing.
I find that so funny, like so amazing that people would be like the most beautiful baby in the baby parade.
Right.
When I read that, I was like, what?
Yeah, there's some.
We have like Gerber baby competitions, right? We do like the Gerber
Right,
baby.
but a baby
Right.
parade. It was literally a parade.
Yeah, that is weird. Do you remember when that was? Do you remember what the year was? I hope
What?
it wasn't in the 70s.
Oh no.
No, it wouldn't have been in the 70s, not when it was a porn theater.
No.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
in the 40s
That
or
would've
something.
That would really be bad.
I want to say Jennie. I want to say it was like maybe 40s,
That's what I
50s.
said.
Yeah, that
40s.
sounds
Yeah,
very
like
40s,
1940s maybe.
Even the 50s.
30s,
is
even 30s,
surprising.
30s or 40s. That's
Yeah.
very old. Baby
That's
parade.
crazy.
That's
So-
cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said there's other things that go on in the theater too. I wanted to show you gave me performance that things are going to be going on.
Yeah.
I like to show. I'm going to show that video. Okay.
Okay.
This is stuff that's going to be going on in 2026 in the theater. So,
Looking ahead.
and it's not only just the paranormal stuff. It's also theater stuff, which I
Right.
think is pretty cool. Here it goes. I think we could talk to this. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we're jumping into our 2026 season. It'll be our 4th season. So our first event is going to be like a show and spiritualism night that we're going to be doing. We have special guests like Monique Toussoon is going to come. We have shows that you can kind of buy a ticket to see the show. Then after the show, you get to investigate the theater after a live performance, which we feel like after a live performance or when there's something going on around theater, whether it be rehearsal, construction, production, lighting, things are forever changing there. So it lends to the energy that spirit can draw from, and especially after a live performance, those are our favorite. But then we have special guests like Brandy Wells is going to be there. So some really fun, good events.
Yeah,
Hey,
they
I
are.
know those people.
Those guys are going to be there too.
Yes. So yeah, we have something for everybody. We do the show and spirit nights, which is great if you want to get bang for your buck. You get to see a live performance of the
Performances are amazing.
show. Yeah, exactly. The performances are amazing. We're not talking just kind of like local theater stuff. They come from like New York City Broadway type of experience. So they lend that to a smaller theater, which the theater is 334 seats, so it's not a tiny theater. But yeah,
But there's never a bad seat in the house either.
Right,
You're in that theater, and you're good. You think you're in the back row, and it's like, oh, I'm in the back row. No, your back row is still perfectly good.
Right, and so we have a lot of ton of fun stuff going on. Our first event is going to be that no tech night. Anthony came up with the idea. He said it would be great, because he and I are talking a lot now about putting some of the tech down and returning to where this all started. So Anthony was like, let's just have a night where we just don't bring any tech, where we're just doing what the folks before us. And I thought that was like a phenomenal event to have. And so that's January 3rd. That's how we're actually kicking off our new our 2026 season. So we're excited about that. We're gonna have people doing mediumship. Jennie's gonna come and do runes. We're going to do tarot as part of the investigation. We have somebody coming in and doing table tipping and pendulums and all that. No cell phones, nothing. Just the only thing we probably will have is some LED candles because we can't have open flame at the theater. But other than that, I'm excited about that one because I'm excited to learn from the people that we have coming in to do these things, people that are skilled, seasoned, that we can trust. So it's a fun event, but it's also educational experience for the guests that are coming to participate.
Well, if
do you feel like the theater?
Let me know.
Do you feel like a theater is a really good place for no tech?
Right.
In particular.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's
As
kind of
opposed
what
to going to Trans-Allegheny or something. I mean,
Right.
it's nice to sit and just listen, but I feel like a theater really lends itself to that.
Well, it's hard to do table tipping when a bat is chasing you around.
No, it's true. It's just, I don't know. There's something a little theatrical about,
Yeah.
Get away with all that. You know what I mean? And it is. I'm getting back to old tech also because I'm getting tired of carrying all that stuff around. And
Yep.
I'm carrying around my pendulums, my dowsing rods, and also now I'm bringing trigger objects like my dolls, Kimm. I'm bringing all the twins everywhere.
The twins. Oh no, you're gonna have to show the twins now. Are they behind you?
The twins asleep. My grandson got a hold of them, so they're half naked in the corner.
You got the
I'm afraid
baby
to
in the
ask what the
bag.
twins are.
What'd you say, Anthony?
I'm afraid to ask what the twins are.
You should be
Oh, yeah,
very
I know.
afraid.
The lullaby. Have you heard the lullaby dolls?
No, you've seen Tim Dalton's Bella doll.
Oh God, those.
Yes,
Two of
yes.
I got two of those.
Oh my God.
And
They talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how I feel about dolls.
And
Same.
somebody asked them.
Now they're talking to your grandson.
No, my grandson's actually torturing them. He's grabbing them around by the heads. I think he broke one of the guy's eyes.
I love that.
Oh no.
Yeah,
There's a boy
I'm
and a
like,
girl.
no. So I bought him his own. I bought another one, a small
No,
one.
you didn't.
Sure I did.
I know.
And he also grabbed the baby in the bag. He grabbed
The baby
that,
in the
and I think
bag
he
is the
broke
other
that
one.
too.
Oh yeah.
Well, that sounds lovely. Baby in a bag.
Baby in the bag, yeah.
Yeah.
He broke my baby in the bag.
All right.
Yeah.
Jumping
No
back.
dolls.
Yeah,
Tim's
let's get back on
dolls.
track
He
here.
doesn't like dolls.
She does not do dolls.
I don't either. I'm with you, Kim.
Yeah.
he doesn't.
I don't know. I never did.
I mean,
That's funny.
I'm probably a
in the
psychopath.
theater, we had that thing a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Mhm.
This is Frankie.
Hi.
And
Look at you.
Look at him. He's talking on stage, and I mean, you do great graphics too. Look at that graphics that he came
I
up
know
with.
it's
yeah,
stunning.
that's cool.
Awesome. And he's introducing everybody, and here's him. And this is part of their, the way they come into investigating and stuff like that. It's like, well, you guys actually think out of the box.
Yes, yes. We pride ourselves, Anthony, on thinking outside of the box.
Yeah, you do.
Wait,
And, you know,
wait.
that, my friend Joey McCaffrey, God rest his soul. But when he was alive, that's all he ever said. You got to think outside the box. You got to think
Right.
outside the box.
Yeah, he's
And-
right.
And he was right, and we always did. And when we were together doing investigations, we always thought about that other way of coming in to do things. You
Right.
know, not
Right.
the. I mean, like you said, TV makes everybody think that's the way to investigate.
Right.
No, there's many ways to investigate. There's so many different tools. You can't just go with ITC and say that's going to give you a
Right.
thing, or any kind of EMF or EVP. EVP, you know, the words come in, but I mean, sometimes you think of what the words are, or any kind of boxes and
Yeah.
stuff. That doesn't give you. Everything's a tool.
Right.
You know, as an electrician, I go to a job. I got a tool belt. I don't just have a pair of pliers in there. I got testers. I got channel locks. I got all kinds of stuff in there, you know, to do a job. And when
Right.
we do investigating, you need all these different tools. And one tool you need like on the job, I need my experience as an electrician to do it. So that's our intuition when we go to an investigation. Our intuition is our main thing to make us think how to use that tool, how to do it. And it's too many people out there right now programmed to what they see on TV.
Right.
You know, or programmed to one piece of tool from EMF or ITC. You know, it's depending on how you use things.
Right.
You know, and that's how it is. You
And
guys-
and there's
in.
really nothing there's nothing wrong with like paranormal shows. And when I say I don't watch paranormal shows, I don't watch paranormal like series, but paranormal like documentaries and films that are made by people that have experience, and it's done in a more informative way rather than like for entertainment purposes. That's the type of like media around paranormal that I like, that I kind of gravitate towards. And then quickly go down rabbit holes of people that do this for a living, like parapsychologists and stuff like that I can kind of look into from the psych perspective of it all. But there's I don't know if there's anything wrong with paranormal media, but I think it's just a different experience when you're coming into it, guys, not from that perspective, and a lot of people are, and it's like Anthony and I will be in like shows or something like that, and he's like, do you know that person? Do you know like that? Do you know that person? I'm like, I wish I did. Like, I wish I did. It's not being like a paranormal snob. I just don't know who they are. So, but it's enjoyable to get to meet these people and see why they do what they do in the work that they do in like media, to lend visibility to the work in the field. But I even learned from that stuff too. So,
I mean, the shows that are out there right now, that's what they're paranormal entertainment.
Right.
Exactly.
But people actually use that as a learning tool.
Right.
And at the beginning, when they first started, I use like, oh, maybe that works, maybe that works, maybe that works. But I learned more through the years from other investigators coming in with different thoughts and stuff. And that's how I am.
Right, that's the best way to learn.
Hey, if this works for me, I'll do. If this works for me, and that's how I do it. And I learn from everybody. And the shows you might learn something from also. It's depending how you look at it. If you're looking at it as a learning tool, that this is the way it's done. No, you look at it, and you analyze it and say, maybe that will work. Maybe that will work, and you try things.
And we were very fortunate in the fact that from very shortly when we started doing this stuff, we were surrounded by individuals that had very seasoned experience in the field. Anthony, you were one of them. Like from day one, no, like seriously, from like day one, we were fortunate enough to have somebody who had years of experience of and can tell us like not tell us what to do, but guide us. Like this is what when you're new, this is what you should be looking for to be respected in the field. So we were fortunate enough to have that from like the absolute beginning. So it set us off on like a really good path and keeping our minds open about really what this is all about. And you talk outside of the box. I love when Anthony and I both start with conversations like, all right, just go with me on this. Okay, so when that preludes the conversation, generally it's something really good that is definitely outside of the box, that we're taking it from like a concept or an idea or a theory and turning it into something that we can apply through Parasite. So we love outside of the box.
Well together. You guys work very well together.
Nice.
We try.
We try.
No, we get it. Like the three of us do it. We do the same thing, you know.
Right.
Right. It's good to have somebody like that. Can you guys talk about how important it is to have that residency, right? Because you have that place, right? We can bring different people in. And I mean, like me thinking like a scientist, you've got that control, the place, right? But then you bring in the variables, the Brandy Wells, the the people who come in and make you learn about that place. Like, can you talk? You follow me, right? Like, I mean, can you talk a little bit about that? Anthony's shaking his head.
When Frankie and I talk about the Ritz, we talk about it as kind of it being our like little paranormal research lab,
right?
You know, because there are so many controls that we're aware of, and then we have all the variables that we can introduce. You know, the cool thing is like one of our on our Halloween event. We did a show, an investigation. It was Rocky Horror Picture Show. And there was one lady there with her daughter. And she's like, I've never done this before, you know, but I figured it would be cool. So I'm like, oh, this is great. And she's like, are you going to take out like cool equipment or anything? I'm like, we're not going to start with equipment. All right. And I took her to all the little places in the theater where things felt different, not off, not strange, not bad. Just different. And I would say, all right, how do you feel over here? Do you feel a little differently than when you were just sitting in the seat in the theater? And she goes, yeah, I'm feeling this. And her daughter was like, I'm feeling this. And I'm like, that's exactly what I feel right here. And then she's like, oh, that's amazing. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to take out a piece of equipment. Now I'm going to take out a digital voice recorder and we're going to do something. And we would get a few EVPs. And I would take her to another section of the theater. How do you feel over here? I don't feel anything. Okay, neither do I. And we kept going like that, you know? So just being able to know how I feel in certain places of the theater on a regular basis and to take and guide someone around and actually give them that kind of experience for their first investigation is very helpful.
Sure. And guests that you bring in also, I'm thinking, like bring a Sam Beltrusis in, you bring like I said, you bring a Brandy Wells in, and everybody adds to the bricks, right? What you learn about the theater.
Oh, we've got plenty of information from people with abilities who come in and that we can kind of cross-reference to any sort of history that we've been able to dig up, or mostly that you've dug up. And you know, sometimes there's stuff that may not necessarily line up with what we have, but we always say it doesn't line up yet.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And what we do get stuff, we're constantly finding out information from the Ritz, like for because we have the historical record, and it's pretty thorough. It's over like 80 pages. And in it, there's no record of any incidences happening at the theater. And in the beginning, we've had a couple of mediums that said, "Oh, you know, there was I think there was a fire," and we're like, "Well, it's not in historical record, so I don't know if that is true." Well, we had for the first time at the event that Anthony and Jennie were at, in 4 years, we had our first Ritz Theater staff member stay for the investigation. And the reason why they don't is because after a performance, when we're there, there have been there probably from 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So to ask them to stay to 2 a.m. And pull 24 hours is tough. But we got somebody who was helping us with tech, who was off that day, and was like, you know what, I'm going to stick around and I'm going to hang out. And when I was giving the history of what we were giving history, because that's what we knew about there not being any incidences, he pulled me back. He goes, you know what? You said that there was never a fire here, but now that you're saying that, like a week before you guys started, there was a small fire in the lighting rig, and the gentleman Matt had to run up the ladder and extinguish it. And I'm like, can I curse on this show?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh shit, we've been giving out the wrong information this whole time. And, and now here he is, mediums are telling me this. And I'm like, no, just to you, Kimm. But I'm like, I don't know about that one. You know what I mean? Because I can't prove it. But here it is that we're still finding out information about the theater, which is fascinating. That's also another, in addition to it being like a lab for us, it's also like a historical, like time capsule almost, that we're pulling stuff out with. Like every moment that we work there, the longer we work there, the more we're getting in touch with like relationships with people and connecting dots. And the theater's been there for 99 years, guys. So it's like, and a lot of the stuff that Jennie found out, that once Jennie started digging into the historical societies, and they found out what we were doing, paranormal work, then they started just sending us stuff because they were so like jazzed up
about it. Yeah,
they were so jazzed up about what we were doing, and they knew it. They knew without us even knowing how much was there that we didn't even know about. That now we're like getting the theater to really see the work that we're doing there, and educating them. Like it's not like what you see on TV. It's not the spirits there are I'm maybe a little biased because it's our home, but they're just a special kind of spirit that I haven't interacted with in other places. I almost feel sometimes when I'm communicating with spirit at the Ritz, like I'm watching a performance. Like, are they characters? Are they taking on themes of the show and mixing it with their own lived experiences when they were here? I don't know. It's weird. It's just like almost like watching an old film every time that I walk in there.
That's interesting because remember, they are performers.
Right.
So what they want to do, and if they have nobody to perform for, now they're performing for you guys.
Right. They're taking center stage.
Right. And it was people like Anthony was saying, like people like Brandy Wells, who again from immediately on basically helped us with who we were communicating with, and stuff that we're still learning about those spirits. And if we didn't have people like Anthony and Brandy and Rich Michella was there at our first event, that gave us like such a foundation to work on. And then all the information that Jennie was pulling in, it gave us a good feeling of having that place where we can open it up to people to do their own work there. In addition to that, it's philanthropic for us. So to give back to the Ritz, we're, it's not just myself and Anthony, but Anthony's wife Shayna is involved, and we're into some causes, and performing arts is one of them. So we get the best of both worlds because we get to play around in the paranormal, and then give back at the same time. So it's like a win-win.
I want to show a clip with the Blue Room.
Okay.
This clip is funny because there's somebody in the Blue Room that jumps up and runs away. But
and you're gonna do this to me.
Clip. Here we go.
All right.
There we go.
Of what you'd like us to play? Whoa!
No way.
The door just opened on its own.
Yes, like
What's the matter?
no, it's just space the fuck out.
I know you did.
See? That's why I spaced the fuck out.
What the actual
Sorry.
fuck?
Okay, I know we said we would leave if you opened that door, and we will. But we...
Thank you.
You want to leave? You're welcome to leave.
If you want us to leave, can you open the door for us?
That would be nice.
If the door stays closed, then I'll just take that as you want us to stay. Okay, we're gonna go then. Thank you.
I love that. That's my favorite part.
Okay.
That's great.
Point taken.
Wow.
There's a clip with just with
Yeah.
you and I in there, Jennie.
Yeah, you and me, Anthony.
And the door opened, you hear me,
Anthony
"Thank you." He's like, "Thank you."
We were on opposite sides of the door. You're like, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The door just opened
So
up on
now
us. It's
that
great.
I've like seen a few folks, because I've never been there. This is a place
Right.
that I've been
I know,
desperately
and I-
trying to get
You're
down
slacking.
there. Really badly.
I know. Now I wish like you weren't listening because we would learn
Well,
new things. Like,
Oh
hey,
well, you know what? I thought about
Right.
that. I thought about that coming on and
No.
talking to Kimm about like sharing information, but then I'm like, we have some new
Yeah. There's some new information.
stuff going on that has not been talked about, that we're not talking about, that I would love for you to come in, because that's, again, it was people like yourself, Kimm, that we wouldn't be talking about the Ritz if it wasn't for people in mediumship that really we could trust that. We would love to have you come in and see like what's going on there now. Yeah.
Well, there is something that, I mean, the second you guys have been talking about the Ritz, and this may mean nothing, but there is a crying woman in the back. I mean, she is
That's
wailing. I mean, like wailing. And she's young. She's like in her 20s ish. I don't know if she got hurt there, somebody hurt her, but I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys.
yeah.
She is
No,
extremely.
not at all. No sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You
Yeah.
can hear that from Richard? It's like the
No.
same
Yeah.
thing that
No,
Richard
since you
said.
guys
He
have been
drew
on,
her.
Yeah. I don't know if an R name with her makes sense to you guys either, if that's something that's come up, and that may not be accurate, but yeah, she's really present. I don't know. There's like a male who's associated with whatever happened to her.
Yes.
Yeah. And she wants justice. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody,
Yes.
but she is really trying to get I don't know if it's names across or dates and situations, but she wants to be heard. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
You're spot on. And the yeah, spot on. The great thing too about the Ritz is one, because of the fact that it's been there since close to 100 years, but so many people in those 99 years have walked through those doors. So people will say like, oh, I'm getting this name and I'm getting that name. All we can do is take it down and look in the historical record and all that, because thousands, hundreds of thousands of people probably have gone through there. And when when you're a theater person, I always say you tend to find a theater and call it your home. And you patronize that theater regularly and make sure it's supported. And those are the spirits that we're communicating with, that are there, or people that loved it or have some type of connection to it. which it has. I don't know if Anthony, are you going to show the piece about? Oh, I don't want to say her name and ruin it.
Okay.
Of a drawing or of
No, do you have the video I sent you about Princess Yvonne? If not, we can just talk about her.
I'm not sure. I got one here. It says Joe, and Jenny's in the picture in there, and then it says the Ritz.
That's okay. We could just talk about
We'll
her.
talk about her.
Yeah. So in Jenny's research, there was a very small article that said something to the effect like Princess Yvonne comes to the Ritz Theater. So Princess Yvonne was a woman who was a mentalist in the 1920s. She was married to a famous magician by the name of Doc Irving. And she kind of worked under Houdini's brother, Hardin Houdini, which was interesting because even Anthony kind of had to like school me on some of that because the Historical Society gave us that she was a medium. And Anthony's like, well, if she was working under Houdini, he really didn't believe in mediumship, Frankie. So like, I don't know. So then Anthony, you could tell them about like the research that you did with her.
Yeah. So, she, like Frankie was saying, she wasn't a medium. She was a mentalist. So she was, she actually held, for a long time, she had a challenge for her audiences where she wanted people to disprove what she was doing. And she offered up a substantial reward. I forgot what it was, but I think at the time, $200 in the 30s. So that's and no one ever managed to claim it. So I did some of my own research on her, and I was trying to dig up as much information as possible, and there's very little. I was actually able to find on eBay, she and her husband had published like these little booklets. They were like horoscope booklets, and they were another one was like a dream interpretation booklet. I was actually able to find a couple of those on eBay. I picked those up. I snatched them right up. Yeah, the originals, and it's cool because it actually goes like the publishing house is actually their home address in Philadelphia and everything, and so they were making them at home, but I figured, you know what, if she's a mentalist and she worked with Harry Houdini's brother, let me start checking like museums on like magic, and I found the American Museum of Magic. And I just, as by a long shot, I reached out. Hey, do you know anything about Princess Yvonne, the mentalist? She worked out of Philadelphia, so on and so forth. I wasn't expecting anything. They were like, yeah, you know what? They wrote me back. We have a whole bunch of information on her, depending on how much you can donate. And that's when I was like, oh, no. But depending on how much you can donate to us, we can pretty much give you everything. And I'm like, all right, well, what would be the donation price for everything? And I'm thinking it's going to be like $500 or something. It was $40.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, $40. And I was able to pull up all of these newspaper clippings, just so much stuff on not only Princess Yvonne and Doc Irving, but also their daughter, Baby Yvonne, who kind of followed in her footsteps for a little bit. Wow. So she actually had her daughter, Baby Yvonne, up on stage with her when she was like 5 years old. So a mentalist, Mary Beth, is like if you ever remember like watching like the David Copperfield specials on TV or something, and he would have like these interactive card tricks where you'd have to like where everyone in the audience starts following his instructions, like pick a card, think about it, and then he goes through this whole process step by step, and then he lands on the card, and it's usually the card that almost everyone picked. It's these tricks essentially that kind of work with your brain in a way that they kind of the mentalist kind of like leads you through the trick.
Right.
Yeah, making you believe that they're reading your mind, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a big reason, like when Anthony told me about Harry Houdini, that was interesting is because he really, even with mentalists, what I'm reading and learning now about it, he still was on the fence about it. But what was interesting about Princess Yvonne, right before Harry Houdini passed away, they were traveling with his brother. So he caught one of her shows in New York City and said, like, basically, like, he could not, there was nothing that he could kind of like debunk what was going on, and called her like one of the most like brilliant mentalist minds in the world. And in the research, we find out that Princess Yvonne in April of 1937, she had a 3-day gallery. She had a 3-day event at our theater. So there are ties to this whole spiritualism kind of movement that was happening, you know, in the 20s and moving into the 30s. And it just, it makes it feel like we're doing the right thing because it's been done there for some time. You know, does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
We're not just coming in there. It's like almost like the theater is used to that vibe. If that makes sense.
It's kind of the theater itself is kind of like willing it along.
Right, exactly.
It opened the spirit's mind. It opened the spirits up to the other world by having a spiritualist there that worked with them. So I feel that it opened up what spirits were there at that time. Remember, there's also a history after she was there. So maybe the spirits that were there, it opened them up to actually communicate a lot easier with us. Because, you know, when you go to a location that's like the first time you go in there, you always don't get too much because spirit doesn't really communicate with you. They have to get used to you, and then they start opening up. But you two guys, you guys almost lived that place in the Ritz, so they're used to you guys now.
Right.
Well, that's
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was gonna let you go, but no, like, well, that's the thing. I mean, we were essentially the second group,
right? I was just gonna
really come in and start checking the place out. But the funny thing is, like, even on day one, I had like a 20-minute ghost box and pendulum session that just kept on going on and on and on. In one of the rooms over there in the rehearsal room. And it seems like ever since then, there's just every time I show up there, it's just more and more and more happening.
Right. I mean, look, like we were having the event for your viewers last 2 weeks ago, and we I don't know why in almost 4 years that we didn't think about this, but like, we had friends. Jennie was in a documentary, and we were like, it would be cool to have like some type of films that were like, we were thinking like maybe some of like the classics and stuff like that. But then 9 Lives Paranormal had the Hollows, and they had a film festival. So Kara and Gail were like, well, you know, maybe we can reach out for your event. Maybe we can reach out to some of the filmmakers of those films and see if they'll let us re-show them at your event. So I was like, oh, that would be great. So we were able to get on the big screen, the film shown, and they were all supernatural in nature and in content. And that was the first part of the whole entire event, which was probably like around 6:30 in the evening-ish. And part of the reason why I was like, oh, this may work is because I was like, this could be like a trigger object for the theater. And it sure enough was. Like, the first film wasn't even over, and people were seeing things that like shadow figures and equipment in the tech booth was knocking over and freaking out this poor gentleman, Brian, who was with us for the first time, and he's like, what is going on here? You know? So
remember the one part of the documentary with that Kimm and Jennie was it, and the one part they were saying the father, the El Father, you know, the Lord's Prayer, and something happened in the there, and Kimm says, "Let's not try that no more."
Let's not
Yeah.
do that.
Said that.
The most famous line of the
I love
documentary.
that. Love
Let's
We
that.
not
heard
do that.
almost like a scream or something coming from behind the stage. Remember? I think you heard it also with your son.
Yeah, yeah. So
It
and
was like,
that we heard.
just like right
Yeah,
after.
we heard that, which my son literally told me, and he's been to the theater before, but he's not into the paranormal. He the next day wanted to call me and tell me how great the event was, but then he said, "Dad, it was so wild that I literally was like looking over my shoulder walking to my car." He was freaked out a little bit because so much was going on. The energy that night was, I felt it when I walked in. It was not only the Ritz was in mid production, so like when they're doing stage stuff, it shakes up the energy.
Yeah.
Then there was rehearsals for a show there before we got there. When we got there, there was a youth camp practicing in the rehearsal room upstairs when we were having our event. So it was just so charged that from the minute that I opened the doors, it was like I could feel it. Like it was like, and I'm not a person that gets that. Only at certain places I do. The Ritz is one of them, like where I can open the door and say, okay, today is like they're ready to communicate, or I could feel like it may be a little slow to warm tonight with spirit. But like Anthony said, the more we're there and the more they're comfortable with us, and the more that they see that when we're doing the peeling back of what she is and bringing in these very specialized people who are going to put us in the right path and in the theater in the right path. It's been, Anthony, you can tell them it's just been wild. It's just been wild.
Yeah, I mean, just like Frankie was saying, just when we keep bringing more and more people, the theater itself just it seems to love it. You know, there was it's funny because the last time I was there, which was the Halloween show, and this is one that it was me and two other people. We were in the Blue Room, and you know, I don't ask about the door anymore because it's like I feel like it's a given. I don't bother them with that. But we were doing an EVP session, and I was sitting where the costume rack, or I was like next to the costume rack. If this is the rack, then I'm just like right next to it with my digital voice recorder. And we're trying to do an EVP session, and the girl who's right across from me, her eyes get wide, and she just like I'm like, what just happened? What did you see? And she's like, you're not going to believe this, but the sleeve from the costume actually just tapped your shoulder. And I was like, you know what? I felt that. I thought it was me just bumping into it. And she said, no, it was like she saw the shoulder of the costume itself pivot on a hanger to where the sleeve would touch me. It wasn't just me bumping into it.
Yeah.
That's some Beetlejuice type of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the first time that's ever happened to me there. Mm-hmm. But it's just like Frankie's saying, like we said, it just keeps escalating, and there's just more and more things are happening. I can't explain it.
Well, that will happen to a lot of these places that you start opening up conversations, and now sometimes it's not just your local Ritz guests.
Right.
You'll start to get passerbys. You'll start to get people coming by because they know it's an interesting conversation, but you'll start to get things coming in because they know it's a place that is an opportunity to try and communicate. Sometimes you got to be careful with that. I've definitely seen a lot of places they get to a point sometimes, and all of a sudden that it takes a turn because there's things that are traveling in that that aren't necessarily grounded in that location. They're actually
right.
You guys got more videos here. I'd like to show them before the end. Because we're,
of course.
Yeah, okay. This is one video that you gave us here.
Okay, come here.
What is that? Theater.
Do you know the name of this theater?
Rich.
That was awesome. That was great. How can you know this? What year is it for you?
Nick, writing to me.
Writing? Yeah, write something.
It worked.
It worked.
We can hear you.
From home.
The what?
That's speaking with?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It happens with AM every
It was
This is AM?
This is AM.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on for an AM. Right. I hear you. Yeah. It's like squeaky.
Do you like Bruce? Do you like it when Bruce is here?
Estrogen.
Yeah, who's whispering? Can the men step back so the woman can speak?
Boring.
Boring?
I like when it says Nixon, because
Yeah.
that gives you a time.
So clear.
That was like 1970s then.
Yeah.
Right? You know what year it is? Nixon.
Right.
I just
Right.
gave you an era of time when Nixon was in from what, 69 to like 72.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
So it gives you that
that was
era.
amazing.
And that's also an example of like him why mediumship was so important to us, because that was Brandy Wells, and she told us I can verify everything that you said, Brandy said 4 years ago, and we don't really advertise, like we don't really put that stuff out there. But she also was telling us too, like, because there's this strong male presence there,
Yeah.
that we need to, and that was an example of how she was telling us how to kind of do it, like telling the male to step back because allow the women to come up. And then unfortunately he said that was boring, but but that was an example of like how now we communicate with certain spirits to,
Yeah.
you know, like allow them to tell your story, but we'll get back to you. You know what I mean? We'll get back to you.
Yeah,
Like
that was so
Nixon.
clear. What was the device you were using?
That was one of the ghost boxes that I actually made. It was a ghost box through a portal. So yeah, just sweeping through the AM frequencies and filtering out some of the noise, and that was it.
Yeah, sounded great.
Nice, right?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That Nixon response gives you a lot of information too. The era, the president, well, of course, of that era, and the guy must be a Republican.
You know what?
The Democrat
They
wouldn't
got-
say Nixon because he wasn't their, their
Right.
president at that time.
Right,
Right.
right.
Politics. So he was a big Nixon follower. So I'm assuming he's a Republican.
And I don't know if she remembers this, but I'm going to give her credit. Jennie was the one that said, we never really do a lot of work in the lobby area,
Right.
And then that's something that Jennie would always say, like, where you put your equipment down is probably the place that you should be investigating. And she's always made a point to do work in the lobby. And I always tell people, because of that, make sure you're investigating the lobby, because it's the doorway. Everything kind of came in through and passed in and out. So that session was probably because Jennie was like, why don't we just all go sit in the lobby? And that's what came out of it. And that was pretty much the first day that we opened up the doors to the public.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
And it wasn't even a public event. It was people, again, because I didn't know any of you guys, right? So Anthony was a big proponent of saying, Frankie, these are probably people that we should pull in and invite to show them what we have and who we are, because they're people that he respected in the field. And that day was a magical day that set the precedence for. I mean, we were in there doing some stuff, but pretty after we got the way that it worked is Anthony and I were looking for places to investigate. I looked up the Ritz Theater because I'm originally from North Jersey, and put it in my GPS. I called the guy up and said, "Hey, I see some stuff online, and I heard that you do paranormal stuff, and we would be interested to, come and do something." And he was like, "Okay, well, why don't you come to my office, and we can have a conversation." So I put it in my GPS, and it has me going South Jersey to, like Anthony said, like Camden towards Philadelphia. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense because the theater is in Elizabeth, New Jersey. That's northern Jersey. But I was like, maybe it's the person, who I'm meeting, the person that runs it, that's where their home is or their office. I pull up and I quickly realize that it is the wrong Ritz Theater. So I'm like, well, I'm here. Might as well have a conversation with these people. And that's when they were like Anthony were saying, they said, well, we've only had one team that's ever done anything here, but then they were here like one time and then we didn't hear anything from them. So we're like, okay, do you mind if we come in? And so we went there a couple times, and then once they saw who we were, and how we loved the theater from like the moment that we walked in, 2 or 3 weeks later, guys, they handed us the keys. And then like maybe a month or two after that, we had this event. So people like Anthony and Brandy and the Holtays and the Clarks, and we had so many great people from the minute that the doors opened there. That
there you go.
What is that?
My VIP.
The VIP laminate.
Oh my God! I don't have my glasses on. Hold on.
That's amazing.
I gotta pull my peepers. Oh my God, Anthony! I think I'm all up in the grill. Oh my God!
That's awesome that you still have that. That was a magical night, and I wanted to.
Yeah.
It made me think of another question I have for you guys. I mean, maybe tell everybody: are there certain pieces of equipment that work better in different parts of the theater? Like I found that Anthony and I sent it to Frankie today.
You guys?
Anthony and I built my own stupid little portal, and we put it. It was my first one ever, and like Frankie said, I don't build, so like it was like, look at this stupid portal. And Anthony and I set it up in the lobby, and used the ghost box, and we got pretty amazing answers too in the lobby. With the ghost box. And so I guess I'm wondering, like, are there different pieces of equipment that you guys find in each area of the theater that we're
for me, I tell people all the time, it's very easy to get swallowed up in a 334 99-year-old Art Deco revival, vaudeville style theater, but there is so many other for me more active locations in the theater. So one is the Blue Room. I find that, and Anthony can talk about, what he feels works best in different areas. But like in both the Blue Room, which is the smallest space, my most favorite and probably the most active, they love K2s up there. They love communicating with K2s in the rehearsal room. Anything that is ITC. They love Anthony's radios. We have gotten some like wild, when you talk about timing and relevance, that could not, like, wild stuff.
Yeah.
So but Anthony's the tech guy, so he kind of I followed Anthony's lead, basically.
So yeah, like Frankie was saying, like for whatever reason, they love a ghost box in that rehearsal room. Like I said, like the very first time I was there, I was having a conversation on a ghost box for a good 20 minutes. So yeah, a ghost box in the rehearsal room. We've been finding more recently EVP stuff with digital recorders upstairs by the women's bathroom. What else? For
We
whatever.
We
Go ahead.
have been toying with an idea the last couple of events that we had. We did it again this past event with Anthony and Jenny were there, doing sound offerings because it is a theater. So that night we showed film. We were tapping into that. So I've been doing like a sound offering in the beginning, like maybe playing something like a show tune or a vaudeville song. And then closing it with something like that as well to kind of like one to set the mood and the tone for spirit, and then kind of like to ease everybody out and calm people down and calm spirit down. I've been finding that in the theater really has been effective, especially in learning about like even showing the films in the theater, like, but just doing things that a theater does, you know, that's
it
a trigger.
raises the energy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the trigger object for the actual physical 334 seat theater. Like we played, because it's the porn era, and we talked about it a lot that night. We started out with one of Pink Floyd's song, Young Lust, and it's about like a gentleman who goes to strip clubs and all that kind of stuff. So it has a very naughty theme to it. And then we closed it out with Carmela from 222 PIR. They were leading the investigation for us, her and Todd. And I said, hey, like, what would you want to, like, what would you music-wise offering would want to do? And she said, I think I would really like enjoy at the end while we're all just sitting there with the lights off and everything, playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And yeah, so it's things like that we've been doing. That kind of like different, like Anthony said, like out of the box stuff. We have to meet the theater where it's at. You know what I mean? Like, why are we not doing theater stuff if it's a theater? You know what I mean?
It's funny because when you talked about the sound offerings, and you reminded me, like the very first time we had that door open in the Blue Room,
right?
We started off by playing the theme from Pippin over my phone.
That's right.
And then for whatever reason, that's when the door decided to open.
And that happened to me with the incident that Jennie got startled. We again going back to the question of like Ritz being more to us than just a paranormal location. It's kind of like a research lab. So Jennie, me, and another investigator, we were trying to replicate what Anthony and Shayna and Albert did. So we played like Phantom of the Opera or something like that.
Yep, that's right.
And then shortly after that, it happened again. So that's a big part of who we have there is. And again, I can't call it. There are sometimes I'm thinking like, okay, this was a person, the Princess Yvonne's, we have other spirits that we can connect through historical records, but then we have a lot that we cannot. So it's almost like some are the spirits of people that are living, but then are the other ones like characters that the spirit world is that like almost like a residual thing, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I can't call it. It just is a feeling that I get sometimes, like where it's like I'm an audience member of like this live production of a theater that has paranormal activity, and me walking through with friends and kind of having that experience. So it's wild. It's a vibe. The Ritz is a vibe.
It is. And you have some characters like
drawings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
you have
I have
video?
some drawings that I drew
let's see those.
in the theater.
I want to talk about your characters, Dana, Harold. But if we have time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're running out of time, but if you want to do that instead of the drawings.
No, get those drawings up.
Get those drawings up.
I know.
This is one of the drawings that I seen. You see the date on it, 2022, on the side. Matter of fact, we were at the Thritz the other night, and Jennie, we seen Jennie seen somebody in this corner. This is, I guess, the left side of the stage. The in back of there's like all kinds of costumes and stuff like that. And we were sitting there, and Jennie seen something move. But
all of us did. Everyone in the audience separately was saying, as you played the films, Frankie, like when you were playing those supernatural films, we kept seeing shadows, and I think I caught it on my camera.
Yeah, I think I got something too, but I got to look into it. It's a little blurry when I zoom in. But this is, everybody was seeing something in that corner that night.
Like they were peeking in
on stage.
Taking a look. Yeah.
It was amazing.
This is another picture. It's 2023, like a year later. I seen this girl. This is the girl I've been seeing in that hallway. And I seen her center stage at that time. She's the one that on the right side, that walkway that goes around. She's the one I noticed. She's the one that peeks out on us. She actually, the one, when we were there that time, we actually seen the curtain move back.
Right, I did see that.
One.
Weird.
Seen it.
She looks angry, Anthony. Is she angry? She looks angry, or you just drew her that way?
I drew her that way, not to be angry, just because I drew her quick. But I don't think she's angry. I think she's more curious of what we're doing.
Gotcha.
She keeps on pulling the curtain back to see, you know?
We've heard something very similar from other people too.
Right.
Yeah. It starts to get themes, right? Like the woman that you talked about that Jill did, or like didn't get the part woman.
This guy I seen behind stage. You know when you go behind stage before you go up the stairs to the blue room? I seen this man right there. I didn't see I just seen his head looking out from like one of the behind the one of the racks over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I seen him like behind stage before you get to the blue room. I don't know who he is and stuff like that, and that happened I think the same day I seen the girl. And this is recently 2024, last year, when I went, and she was behind stage also. And I think that it was, I tell you the truth, I think it was a man dressed in a kimono, maybe doing a scene from, you know. So I actually think it was a man more than a woman of that era, you know, doing the show.
So specific.
That was behind stage too by the costumes.
Yeah, I love that.
Now I have to go back, Anthony, now that you said that. And we've seen this picture a couple of times. So this is, that's a new revelation that's very interesting because I can go back and see in the program, the playbills that Jennie pulled for us, like was Madame Butterfly ever performed there?
Right, a Shogun. Yeah,
something like that, you know? So another rabbit hole. Thank you very much, Anthony.
Another assignment.
Something else you got to put on the list to look up. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We got like 15 minutes. Do you want to talk about the
I want to talk about what you know I want to talk about.
I know. Yeah.
The IZR.
So Anthony M and I are doing a project, and we can come on and talk about that project because we wanted to focus on the Ritz today. But we're doing we have we're using a device called the Neurovisor, which is long and short of it, it's a wellness device using light and sound neuroscience technology that we can tap into people and do what's called neurobiohacking to elevate different brain states. And so we've been doing some work with in the paranormal with it. And I've been having some really great experiences and people having great experiences. And the picture that Anthony just had up, we were at the Hollows again with 9 Lives Paranormal. And we've been very hesitant about getting mediums to try it, not because we don't want them to, but we didn't want anyone to think that we were doing anything to like alter somebody's like natural gifts. If anything, we were trying to enhance other people who, you know, may not have those abilities to increase that a little bit, because we can do things like spike gamma and theta, which are associated with mediumship and psi abilities. So at the event, Anthony Simonelli was like, what is this thing that you guys have?
Yeah.
So we explained it to him, and he was willing enough to probably be one of the first medium, like people with any type of ability to do the neurovisor. And so I guess I'll let Anthony talk more about that. Anthony Simonelli.
Anthony, the guinea pig.
So, you got a video. Want me to throw the video on?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll throw the video on, and this is pretty interesting. Here we go.
But what's weird is I had a really weird vision the last time when I was with Amy doing it in the parlor. There was 2 flash images I got. One was a kid in overalls, and he was like on one knee going like this. And the other one, towards the end of it, was the Virgin Mary.
Oh, what?
So it looked just like, it was like, I saw like the headdress thing, and like all white, like light, coming around her. And she was like this, like had her hands this way, and then went like this and picked her head up. Oh wow. Went like that. And I started looking into it more, and you ever heard of the Miracle of the Sun? 1917?
What yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
If you look up paintings of that, pictures, it's almost exactly the same. There's like 3 kids that had different visions of the Virgin Mary throughout a couple months.
Right.
And the pictures are kids like on their knees like that.
Right.
That's
So what's interesting about that is, if I don't know if Anthony, if you have the separate image of the three people with the hoods on.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Anthony had told me that, throughout the whole day, he kept coming up to me and Anthony. I'm like, this is wild, because now I'm getting this stuff, and he kept like giving, he held this one for another sit down that we had with him. But what was interesting is, Anthony, can you tell them what you drew?
Okay, when I first went under, it was really interesting because it came in, and first thing I seen was a steeple. A steeple in the background, a steeple that overlooks something. But when you first go in, you get the image in front of you like a kaleidoscope type of thing, all different colors coming in, reds, blues, pinks, all different colors coming in. That's in front of you. And then on the edges around it, on the edge, right in the center, I seen a steeple that as I'm going along, I started seeing this. And there was 3 people there with hoods on, and I thought they were some kind of religious people, like monks or whatever, but I didn't see any faces or arms or anything, but they were right there on the other side of the kaleidoscope thing, because the kaleidoscopes are on the whole time, and these are like the edges of the kaleidoscope, okay? Then, I have the kaleidoscope.
But what's interesting about that is the video that the gentleman that was in the video, Trey Bader, they have a neurovisor at the Samuel Miller Mansion. So what he was talking about is, after doing a session, he experienced seeing these 3, what he said was children, and kneeling down, and he didn't even speak to Anthony Simonelli about it. We're talking about this was
for a while.
Right. This was 3 weeks after the event. And Anthony showing us that that people, like, he saw a similar vision. And when he was talking about the Miracle of the Sun, these 3 children, I literally like got choked up from it, because from what Anthony drew, those 3 figures with the hoods on, and then you look at these 3 children that had this profound spiritual paranormal situation. And somebody who is in Columbia, Pennsylvania, to somebody who lives in upstate New York or in Queens, or you know what I mean? Like, it was mind blowing to me that they're having this very similar experience. And it just blew my mind, because there was that validation that like, that's something that two people are not going to kind of come up with. That specific three small images, and then Trey says it's the children, the miracle of the sun children, and you look up images of them, and it's exactly what Anthony Simonelli drew 3 weeks before. I mean, how do you explain that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, one thing
the
to,
words too, not just the pictures, the words they use, like the words that Trey used describing it, and the words Anthony used, like describing it, like religious, that kind of thing. Like it really is, because he could draw three figures with a hood, but maybe it's not religious. But Anthony said it's religious.
Right.
I see the sequel.
And three, not two, not one. Like, it's amazing.
Three.
One thing to point out, though, to the viewers with the neurovisor, it's not something that projects images into your brain or into your eyes. It's a little box with 9 white LED lights on it. And that's all it is. You close your eyes, the lights flash, and just because those lights are going through your eyelids at specific patterns, you see colors and looks like a kaleidoscope. There's no way it constructs. There's no way that it like sort of constructs like a picture image for you to see. It just looks like a geometric kaleidoscope.
And it's different for everybody. It's everybody's brains differently. It's building like new neural pathways. So Trey's experience and Anthony's experience, the probability of them having the exact same experience is, I'm not a stats person, but it would probably be like astronomically out there. There may be some similarities, but that is, they both described seeing this same exact thing in a spiritual context. So,
my experience with these kinds of devices, they just take you into your subconscious. So whatever, it just takes out your periphery. So then you're able to then go in and receive whatever is going to be received. Actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yes.
But Dr. Joe Dispenza actually has a part of one of his, he does a lot of, I don't even know what you kind of call what he teaches, but he uses a kaleidoscope as one of his techniques to actually take you out of your conscious mind and put you into your subconscious, where you can place new goals, new health ideas, and new stories, and input your new stories, because it wipes out your conscious mind.
Right. And that's basically what you're describing, Kimm, is the neurovisor, the gentleman, Garnet Dupuy. He's been in mindfulness for like 35 years, and he wanted to give almost people the experience. It started out with like, he wanted to give people like a psychedelic experience without taking a psychedelic, and then quickly found through research studies that there's light and sound technology can be used for, that's a great way to kind of kick the brain into like thinking outside of, you talk about outside of the box, and then put neuroscience on it, where you can kind of neurobiohack those states. It's pretty interesting, and why the project is so important to us. And again, it goes back to the Ritz. We get to use the Ritz as our lab, so we can do things like neurobiohacking stuff using the neurovisor, and then we have the ability to immediately see what that is going to be like in a paranormally active location, which is pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating. Yeah.
Very cool.
And one important thing to note before we move on from that is the neurovisor, actually what it does is it raises and lowers specific brain waves, like Frankie said. We have another device, which is like an at-home EEG, that we can use to actually verify those changes in people's brains. We can take before and after readings to say, yes, we did raise gamma, we did raise alpha. There's the reading right there in front of you.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Well, guys, we have 6 minutes left.
Um,
Where do you
Well,
get that
less than
tool?
6 minutes. It
I
went
know,
by
and there's
fast.
a lot. There's a lot for you guys coming up that we want to make sure we get to at the end, and I'm
Right.
going to put it in the comments and put it on our
Yeah.
Facebook page. I always share your stuff to our Facebook page. But real quick, I have a quick question. Anthony,
Yeah.
Maniacal High School. See, told you. No problem. Been
None
saying
whatsoever.
it for years. What was your experience? Can you share one, or do you feel like sharing one? Like Anthony had that experience of seeing the steeple and the thing. Like, do you have something that you saw?
So I have a really good. I have two, but I'm going to talk about one where three
Okay.
of you were present for.
Okay.
We were investigating Peachfield Plantation in South Jersey, and it was the first time I had ever used the neurovisor. So Frankie brought it, and he's like, "Here, try it." And strapped it on my head, sat down for 11 minutes, and essentially, for lack of better terms, tripped balls for those 11 minutes, and then
I love that. I love that.
Works.
and then
Where
we
in
just
the
went
house
on.
were you? Where in the house did you do that?
We were on the second floor.
Okay.
We were
yeah.
on the second floor in the bathroom. I think.
Bathroom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was
Oh.
sitting on the toilet,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah, you were sitting on the toilet.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
So, but we then we went about doing the investigation. Having
Yeah.
fun like we always do. We had our friends Ron and Lourdes there, and they were doing digital seance downstairs. And I'm upstairs with Kimm, and I'm all excited because I never get to work with Kimm, and finally I get to work with her. And she puts down she turns on her REM pod. I know, and then I get pulled away, and I'll get to why. She turns on her REM pod. She puts it down. The thing's going off like spiking, like it's like. So I'm like, all right, let's turn it off. Let's turn it back on. Put it somewhere else. It's still doing the same thing. It's spiking. It's not changing. It's not turning off. It's not shutting up. It's going all the way up. So while we're trying to troubleshoot that, my wife comes upstairs looking for me, and she goes, "You need to come downstairs right now." I'm like, okay. I'm thinking I was already in troubleshooting mode. I'm thinking is someone having a problem with the piece of their equipment. So I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. As we're walking downstairs, she says, "Yeah, through TDSE, we heard the name Rita, and we heard happy birthday." And the thing is, with all that day was actually the anniversary of my grandmother's birthday, and my grandmother's name is Rita. So by the time I got down there, the connection or whatever it was sort of coming to a close, so to say. So I didn't really catch much. But the fact that there was a connection established, a personal connection that almost never happens to me when I investigate, and it happened where like I wasn't even in the same room when it was happening.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like I was talking to someone else about the neurovisor, and I say it's kind of like tuning the antenna, like to kind of like make you a better receiver for whatever's going on out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all it is I've been using light and sound technology in my holistic practice for a very long time. All it is deep mindfulness grounding to tap you into not just the paranormal. We're just finding that deep mindfulness, and this is probably something I've known for a very long time. That deep grounding and mindfulness and being present and kind of taking yourself out of the day-to-day distractions. Spirit, and again, Kimm, correct me if I'm wrong. Spirit I feel like will gravitate towards that more than a piece of technology. So I've been finding like that's why I haven't been bringing tech out, because if I can ground myself, whether it be neurovisor, that is just a powerful tool that we find that instantaneously that it can kind of ground you pretty quickly. But anything mindfulness, and when you can tap into yourself, then you're open more to spirit. So so it's pretty fascinating.
Well, we got a minute left.
What a
Is
place to
anything-
end. I love that quote.
Yeah.
We got a minute left. You guys have to, where can they find you? If give some information quick because.
Yeah, so I could give it to you rapid fire, pretty easy. You can find us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at the Parasite Project Corp. On YouTube as well, Parasite Project Corp. and we are going to be at the
Krampus Festival.
The Krampus Festival this Saturday in Asbury Park. We're also going to be at the Columns Museum doing a collaboration with Full Moon Paranormal. We're also going to be at the My Haunted Manor USA Samuel Miller Mansion and Keystone Artisan Works that same day on the 13th. And then we are finishing up at the New Jersey Punk Rock Flea Market in Trenton. So we will be there with the Neurovisor. So if anybody wants to come check us out, there's also still tickets available to do the Columns Museum. So we'll post that up, and yeah, so come check us out. Come check us out,
guys. We have to end it. We have to do
Love
it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much for having us.
Thank you.
Jenny, no more questions. Thank you. Thank you guys for showing, and thank you for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. Really.
Thank you,
want to
guys.
thank you guys. Want to thank the audience. Thank you to my I feel like a bookmarker in the middle. On the two bookmarkers on each
No, you're
side.
the book.
I'm the book. Okay. I just want to thank everybody for showing. I want to thank everybody, like I said, for showing. I want to also tell everybody you got to be safe out there. You want to look for ghosts. You don't want to be a ghost. Ciao, familia. Forget about it. Hey.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, guys.
Hey, how you doing?